When it comes to absolute goated childhood cartoons, it would be a crime not to include The Amazing World of Gumball. This is probably the first cartoon I watched on Cartoon Network and is my all-time favorite. The show was just so relatable to me and basically shaped my personality from the ages of 7 to 10 years old. I can't describe how much I loved the show and how it shaped my childhood, but there was this one episode that I can relate to the most. Shipping is a pretty common thing both on the internet and in our everyday lives. If you don't know what shipping is, it's basically when someone takes an interest in or hopes for a romantic relationship, fictional characters, or famous people, whether or not the romance actually exists. People can ship in many ways, but the most common are friendship and romantic shipping. Personally, I have no problem with shipping as long as it doesn't involve real people. That's where I draw the line. I've indulged in shipping myself before and even written fan fiction before, and no, I won't be showing you guys. But there are some people who take shipping way too seriously. Which one of those people is Sarah from The Amazing World of Gumball? Sarah as a character in my eyes is literally the embodiment of everything weird and cringy in fandoms. During the duration of this show, she basically stalks Gumball and Darwin and is kind of their number one fan slash shipper. We know later on in the show that she kind of has a crush on both of them. I can sort of relate to Sarah on a small scale. No, I haven't openly obsessed and shipped two guys, but she's literally what I was like going into middle school. I was just as weird as her. I feel like during this episode that I'm going to talk about how we get to see what even more of a weirdo she is. In this video, I'll be giving a recap of the Shippening from The Amazing World of Gumball, what I like about the episode, and what I think the lesson the writers were trying to say with this episode. With that out of the way, let's get started. The episode begins with the Elmore police catching the awesome store and its owner in a parking lot. They go through the van and find many things. The owner of the store drives away with the back of the van open. Sarah is walking out of her house to check her mail when both the police and van almost hit her. A book fell from the back of the van right in front of Sarah. It has the Cartoon Network logo on it. Low-key, that notebook looks really good. I'd buy it and I wish I had it. Sarah squeals and runs back into her house and starts writing fan fiction in the notebook. Little did she know that what she writes in the notebook becomes reality in Elmore. Gumball and Darwin are hanging out at the mall when they see all of Sarah's ships and fanfic become reality. Gumball immediately realizes that this was Sarah's doing and they race to her house. Sarah's in the middle of writing more fanfic when Gumball and Darwin arrive. She explains what she's doing and they tell her her fanfic has become literal. The cops soon appear at her door looking for the notebook. Gumball tries to write in the notebook to fix everything while also trying to stall the police. He ends up making Elmore worse by not being specific enough in his writing. In the end, Sarah takes the notebook from him and writes something, ultimately changing everything back to normal. Just like any other Amazing World of Gumball episode, it's really funny. I like the reactions in Gumball and Darwin throughout the show when they see Sarah's fanfics go down, which makes me laugh every time. I also like how the animators designed Sarah's room. This is a type of room only a shipper or an extreme anti-grass toucher would have. There's paper slash sticky notes all over the walls and ceiling. Also in this episode, we find out Sarah is actually an otaku. We know because she literally says so herself. Along with what she's wearing, it kind of gives it away. The way she exits her house and puts on her sunglasses is very otaku and anti-grass toucher coded. I know most of you guys probably do the same. When she says the light can kill her is also very literal and metaphorical. She's an anthropomorphic ice cream cone, so of course she might melt in the light, but that's also a nod to the stereotype of otakus being afraid of the light because they don't leave their houses. I interpret this episode in two ways, but the main storyline of the episode is if shipping was in the real world. What I mean by that is what would happen if every ship that anyone has made came into the real world. So how I interpret the storyline is if shipping came into the real world, one, there would be anarchy in the streets, and two, not everything and everyone needs to be shipped. I feel like the first one is pretty obvious with what we see and know. Shipping can be a good or a bad thing depending on how you do it. You can just like the thought of two characters together or take a step further by writing or drawing fan art of the characters slash people together. In this shippening, we see Sarah didn't just write about the people in Elmore, but drew fan art of Gumball and Darwin. Since Gumball and Darwin are technically real people in this universe, they obviously thought this was weird. When Gumball and Darwin show Sarah what her stories have cost, there were ships everywhere in the streets. In that clip, we see Idaho and Ocho, that one orange lady and Richard, Penny and Banana Joe, and many more. If ships came into the real world, that's how I'd imagine it to be in the streets. People that have been shipped would be kissing or making out in the streets. Celebrities who have been shipped would be confirmed to be dating. And cartoon characters would be in completely different shows of the characters they're being shipped with. It would be chaos, I tell you. Chaos. I feel like the second theme is pretty self-explanatory, so I won't really go into depth with it. If you're chronically online or you just know the bare minimum about shipping, then you've probably seen some weird things being shipped online. Some of them are straight up questionable to say the least. I like to compare shipping to how Rule 34 works. If something or someone exists, then people are going to ship them together. There are some really bad individuals like Sarah that will ship the most random people together. People that I think wouldn't have anything in common. Like, why the heck did she ship Penny and Banana Joe together, along with Richard and that orange lady? The worst, in my opinion, is her fan art ships of Gumball and Darwin. She just gender bended Gumball and made him a girl. But this can also be the beauty of shipping to some extent. You make fan fiction or fan art of people slash things and make them however you want them to be, even if they have completely different personalities than they do in real life or in the show slash movie they're a part of. I'm sorry if this ending seems a bit abrupt, but I just didn't know what else to add. Really am sorry, guys. Thank you guys so much for getting to the end of this video. If you guys liked, please like and subscribe. And in conclusion, don't ship everything. And shipping can be a good and a bad thing. Just don't make it weird. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.